Can you hear? There we go. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. For those I haven't met, my name is Dan Harbeck, and I serve as the Regional Head of External Affairs and Public Policy for Google. I also have the good fortune of living and working here in Nebraska. Before we get started, there are a few acknowledgments at the top of the program we'd like to make. First, Dr. Gold, and to the University of Nebraska, Chancellor Bennett, thank you so much for hosting us. This facility is incredible, and I think it's very appropriate for the announcements that we're going to be making today. So thank you for having us and hosting. Senator Ricketts and Congressman Bacon, you were both there when we first put a shovel into the ground back in 2019, and so thank you for your leadership, not just here in Nebraska, but back in D.C., and we appreciate you joining us again today. And Mayor Gaylor, Baird, it is dang good to be here in Lincoln. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed working with you and your team. I know we have other folks from the city and the county. I know we have a number of folks from the greater Omaha area and Sarpy County. Thank you for being here. We also have a number of our state senators who are here, in particular Senator Von Gillern, Senator Brandt, Senator Clements, Senator Dorn, and Senator Hughes, and anybody I might have missed. Thank you for your leadership at the state capitol. We appreciate it. And I also want to pause to acknowledge our utility partners, OPPD, LES, Javier, and Emeka. Personally, to you and to your teams, the level of relationship that we have, but also the level of collaboration that we've been able to deliver together is not lost on us, and we are deeply, deeply grateful. So thank you to you and your teams. We also have a number of our economic development partners here, Director Bielitz and the state of state of Nebraska. You know, I lived there for 7 years, and sometimes it still comes out, but nevertheless, Director Bielitz, thank you, and the state of Nebraska for our continued engagement and involvement over time. We also have a number of other economic development partners, the Omaha Chamber, the Nebraska Chamber. We have our friends from Tech Nebraska who are here, and more locally, the Lincoln Chamber and the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development. We appreciate your leadership and the fact that you've been with us every step of the way as we've continued to grow and invest here in Nebraska. And finally, we have a number of our nonprofit friends and partners here. That has to be one of the best things about coming into community, is being able to support, lift up, and amplify the work that you're doing. And we have a lot of Googlers who love rolling up our sleeves alongside you. So thank you for giving us that opportunity as we grow here in Nebraska. But with that, thank you for being here, especially on a Monday of Thanksgiving week, for taking out the time of your schedule to join us. But now it's my pleasure to turn the time over to the CEO of Google Public Sector, Karen Dahut. Karen?
It is great to be in Nebraska, and congratulations to the Cornhuskers on a great win this weekend. So it is wonderful to see you all here today, and Dan, thank you for the kind introduction. Let me just say it is really an honor to be with all of you today. It's been a while since I was in Nebraska, 4 years ago. It's great to be back. Senator Ricketts, Congressman Bacon, it is great to be with the entire group here today to make these announcements. I know that, as Dan said, the Monday before Thanksgiving is a difficult time to show up, and we're super grateful for that. And of course, a special thank you to the members of the Nebraska legislature as well as the Lincoln City Council for being here as well today to celebrate this announcement. So as Dan said, my name is Karen Dahut, and I am the CEO for Google Public Sector. And essentially, Google Public Sector was stood up as an independent subsidiary of Google to serve all elements of the public sector. The federal government, military services, national security, state and local governments, as well as educational institutions. We are super proud to be mission-focused to bring Google technologies to bear on the public sector mission. I myself am a Navy veteran. My father served for 42 years, and I followed in his footsteps, and nothing is more important to me than serving the defense and national security mission. And at Google, we believe we are a strategic asset for that mission and are thrilled to be able to serve our men and women in uniform, as well as all of the fantastic civilians that support that mission. We would not be here today if it weren't for some extraordinary partners, so thank you to our partners in the audience as well as across the state to help us make this investment, this meaningful investment for American innovation and for AI for the state of Nebraska. So without further ado, it is my honor to officially announce that Google is expanding its footprint in Nebraska with a $930 million investment in this great state across our 3 data center campuses and those communities around those campuses. So today's announcement brings Google's investment in the great state of Nebraska to over $4.4 billion. In addition to supporting our great government customers, in particular those in the national security area, these data centers are critical to making sure that Google's investment in technologies can be leverageable by those missions. And we know that it's not enough just to invest in the communities that we at Google call home, but also to be great partners, to being great neighbors in those areas where we build and develop data center communities. So that's why I am also very pleased to announce that Google, through our philanthropic arm, google.org, is also committing a $250,000 gift to the University of Nebraska, building on our ongoing partnership with the university system to support AI research and education across all of its campuses. I want to assure you that as we continue to grow, as Google continues to grow, we are committed to growing scalably and sustainably. And I had a great conversation with the governor this morning on those exact topics. This year, we have worked with local agencies and companies to promote the local health of the Platte River Basin. In addition, this is part of our continued work to support water security in Nebraska and all the communities where we operate. We will continue to these efforts in Omaha and here in Lincoln to bring over 1,000 megawatts of new clean energy to the state of Nebraska. Thank you. We know that Google's Lincoln data center will benefit our neighbors by sparking economic growth, bringing jobs to the community and supporting local organizations. Our ecosystem of partners working together to bring resources, infrastructure, and partnership to this great state. So thank you again to everyone here today that came for this special announcement and for allowing Google to be a part of your community and to invest in your community. With that, I would love to turn it over to our host, the University of Nebraska President, Dr. Gold. Thank you so much.
Well, wow, what a great announcement. One more time just to say thank you for that amazing news to not only the investment in yet another historic data center, but in the educational programs that are going to build the workforce for the future of the state of Nebraska and in this partnership. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about last weekend for those of you that don't live here. You know, as one of my colleagues said, I might as well take credit for it, because if it doesn't go well, I'm certainly going to get the blame. But it was a historic weekend. You know, one of the things that makes this university great and this community great and that energizes me every day are the partnerships. It's the relationship that we have with the Department of Defense to protect the security of our nation. And all of us here know that our freedom is not free, and that there are men and women all around the world and in this country who are protecting our freedom, and our partnerships with the Department of Defense through our university-affiliated research center and so many other areas are historic, long-standing, and continue to grow and to really make us and make me incredibly proud to be part of this great university system. This partnership, this $250,000 grant, is critically important as well, because as some of you in the audience may know, we recently announced and the Board of Regents approved one of the very, very first programs, educational baccalaureate programs in generative artificial intelligence and machine learning as a collaborative partnership between the University of Nebraska-Omaha campus and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln campus. This is in direct result to a demand signal of workforce needs across the public and private sector. And I can tell you the application pool for that program is through the charts, and we're going to need to think about ways to expand that and to move that into graduate programs and other such things, because there is no question that generative artificial intelligence is absolutely here to stay. It's here to stay not only in the military, it's certainly here to stay in healthcare, I can tell you from my own background, but it's also here to stay in agriculture and farming and ranching. It's here to stay in banking and in accounting. And it's not a matter of replacing human talent. It's a matter of providing tools for the next generation. I heard a comment recently, and I think it was from it was at the Association of American Medical Colleges annual meeting several weeks ago in Atlanta, where one of the plenary speakers said that generative AI and artificial intelligence is not going to replace jobs of people who use it as a tool, but it may very well replace jobs of people that choose not to. And I thought that was a very profound way of thinking about it. And finally, before I turn the program over, I just want to tell you a very short story. Just earlier this morning, when I travel across our campuses and I meet students and faculty, I always say to the students, if ever I can help you, let me know, come have a cup of coffee, etc. So this senior student from the Rake School, which is one of our premier educational programs. It's a project done by Jeff and Tricia Rakes that marries information science and technology and business. So this young woman, straight 4.0, every experiential thing you would ever want, grew up in Phoenix, comes to talk to me about graduate school and is interested in a PhD in bioinformatics. Now, this is a young lady who could go anywhere in the world, but she has chosen to stay here. And I think that's just an amazing statement about the future of this community, because we need to attract 100 just like her, and they will build the future. So again, our most sincere thanks for this partnership. We're really grateful. We will be investing these dollars in educational programming to understand as best as we can how generative artificial intelligence and machine learning needs to touch every one of our educational programs, all of our research programs, all of our outreach and clinical programs, our extension services, all of that is going to be built around this new tool that continues to grow. And with these dollars, it'll give us a very, very solid foundation to build upon that. And so with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce somebody who really needs no introduction. I'm told it's not a roast, so I won't say anything at this time, but the immediate past governor and senator from the great state of Nebraska, Pete Ricketts.
Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke said those words, the futurist and writer, about the power of technology and innovation. And just think about it, right? We all carry one of these around. It's got more computing power than the Apollo 11 space lander. I could use this right now to call my son in Japan and get a video of it. And it would be almost live, except that he probably wouldn't pick up because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning there. But think about the power in that. Or think about all the paper this replaces. Do you all remember, I want to see some gray hair here in the audience. You remember there's these things we used to have to keep in our cars. They were made of paper and they were kind of like drawings. And like you could follow the lines on it and it would take you places. They were called maps. Well, now we got this thing called Google Maps. You just put it in here and it takes you there pretty accurately. More accurately at least than my map reading. So think about that. Or the fact that I can use this to jot off a note to somebody or send a document with it, right? That's the power of what goes on with technology innovation. And that's why it's so important that we continue to invest and have innovation in our country. If you think about it, we don't solve our problems so much in this country as we innovate our ways out of it. And so companies like Google that are facilitating that are vital. And we talked a little bit about that with some of the stuff on artificial intelligence. This is something that we have a competitive advantage in the world on right now. We need to continue to invest in it. So having the gift from Google to be able to help the University of Nebraska with their program on generative AI is crucial, not only into developing our young people and creating these jobs that are going to be so important, but for our national defense. Right? If you think about it, China has a gazillion people they can send at us for hackers. But we can leverage the technology to be able to counter that in our cyber defense programs. And so it's a very important aspect. And Google's investment here of over $4.4 billion shows why they think this is a great place. Right? They understand that Nebraska has great people, that we've got the right values. We believe in hard work, education, that we value our families and our communities. This is the kind of place that you want to invest in because it's the fabric of our country, that civil society that binds us together right here in Nebraska. And in fact, Nebraska has always been a place of opportunity. Whether you want to go back to the first peoples who came here over thousands of years ago, or the French trappers, or the pioneers who came here. Nebraska has been a land of opportunity, and we're right in the middle of the Silicon Prairie. So Google's investment here is absolutely appropriate. We've also had a long history of defending our nation. Offutt Air Force Base and STRATCOM are a key part of that. And so again, Google's investment here makes a ton of sense because as Ms. Dahut was saying, they're key, they view themselves as a key asset, a strategic asset to the defense of our nation. So there's a lot of synergy that goes together here. And of course, as we mentioned, Google's always been a great partner of the community as well in giving back to places like Lincoln, like Omaha. We were talking earlier, Dan said that they were the first gift to the new Omaha Central Library. So that, again, gift in investing in innovation and educating our young people. So I think this is a perfect synergy between what we do here in Nebraska, the people that we have here, what Google wants to do for our economy and for our country, and this investment will just continue to build upon that great relationship. So I'm excited about this. I want to thank all the people at Google for your investment here in our state of Nebraska. We appreciate that these investments will help create the jobs here and will help continue to make sure our country can continue to innovate. I know this data center will, for example, will continue to support things like Google Cloud and Gmail and Google Maps and Google Docs, all the things that we use in our everyday lives, but it will also help facilitate the things for the next generation in artificial intelligence. So thank you all very much again. I appreciate the investment. And now somebody else I also appreciate is Don Bacon. He's my congressman. Everybody loves bacon. So let's bring him up with a nice round of applause.
So Pete says he carries one of these around. I'm going to one-up him. I carry two. I'm supposed to do it by rules. You're not supposed to mix your official and your political. So are you breaking the rules? Oh, he's got two as well. So I don't know if you know that there's 8.5 billion clicks every day on Google. That is 3.5 clicks per person. It took me 4 clicks to get that data, by the way. Senator Clements, are you doing your part for Google? How many clicks have you done today? Okay, I like to pick on him. He's just listed south of us there. But I want to congratulate Google and Lincoln for this great investment, $900 million right here. And I'll tell you, in Sarpy County, we know what that means. We've had a $600 million investment there. I'm the chairman of the cyber subcommittee that does the defense stuff. There's also one for Homeland Security that focuses on our infrastructure and private sector, but I do more on the military side. But we have cyber offense, cyber defense, artificial intelligence in our portfolio, electronic warfare, but also trying to figure out how we can purchase commercial off-the-shelf technology faster, and we're not that good at that part. And I got to tell you, Google is just doing a great job in this realm. I mean, I've learned firsthand as being the new chairman just how much Google's involved. I mean, on the cyber side, for particularly cyber defense, critical role there for our national security. And one thing I've learned is, for decades leading up to this, the military has always been more advanced than the private sector. It's not anymore. That now the private sector is outpacing the military, but our procurement models still act as if we in the military have the dominance. So it takes years to procure off the commercial technology, and it takes years to pay them, but that's not the way the private sector works. They want to be paid this year, and we need that technology this year, and the military hasn't got there. So one of the biggest tasks I have in this subcommittee, assuming I still have it because we're reforming with the new Congress, is to figure out how we can do more quickly working with our private sector to get this technology and to give them clearances to even work on our networks. It takes a year on average just to get an approval for a company to work on the networks, and that does not work at the pace that we got to work in the military today. If we want to keep up with China and Russia and the threats out there, we have to reform and be much faster. So that's the task that I have. So I want to take the time just to say thanks to Google for what you do for our military and for our national defense. In fact, I got hacked 2 years ago, and one of the things I learned, if I had Google, I would have been hacked. They were quick to point that out, right? So it's good sales right there. I want to also say that Google has been very important for our veterans. Just at Offutt Air Force Base, they have a training program for all our veterans who are transitioning out and helping them get jobs in places like Google or like companies. And 6% of our population are veterans, and it's always a little scary when you transition and figure out where you're going to find a place to land. So I want to thank Google for supporting our veterans as they come out and be part of the private sector. Thirdly, on behalf of District 2, you've all made a huge difference. I mean, $600 million investment in Sarpy County, 120 jobs. And I will tell you, there's all these nonprofits that Google supports. I'll give you one example, helping out our local schools have better technology programs, better trade programs, and Google's investing right in our high schools, and that makes a huge difference. And I'll just close on this note, and I think this goes with Lincoln as well, but the Omaha area, I think that includes Lincoln, we've been rated by Forbes as the best place to live in the country, with the fastest growing economy in the country at 9% GDP growth. I think Google's been a big part of that, and I want to thank you. So with that, I want to invite up the great mayor of Lincoln, and you're going to be our keynote. You got, what's it, 20-minute speech? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that generous introduction, Congressman Bacon. And thank you to the University of Nebraska and to Dr. Gold and to everyone here at UNL for hosting us here at Innovation Campus this morning for some very exciting announcements. And on behalf of the City of Lincoln, I want to thank so many dignitaries who are here today joining us, to Senator Ricketts and Congressman Bacon, and to the many state and local leaders who are present, to Dr. Gosman and folks from LPS, and of course to our partners at the Chamber and LPED who helped bring Google to Lincoln. Thank you for your role in getting us to this very special day. And to our guests from out of state, I offer the warmest of Nebraska welcomes to Lincoln, and huge thanks to Karen Dahut for her leadership, for coming to Nebraska today as the CEO of Google Public Sector, and for the presence of your team. Did I understand you correctly that you call them Googlers? Because at first I thought she was talking about me and all of you who Google, and then I realized she was talking about her team. We're really excited that you're making this huge investment in Nebraska and in Lincoln. Your investment has some really big benefits for the people who call Lincoln home. And I know that this is an audience that likes data, so here are just a few data points that I wanted to share about those big benefits. The new $600 million data center that's going up in Lincoln will support hundreds of construction jobs in the short term, and then dozens of full-time, well-paid positions into the future. And that's one of the reasons why the Chamber and LPED and the city worked so hard together to bring Google to Lincoln. And that investment is going to continue to pay dividends far into the future. And Google's investment in our community is going to help in a really special and different way. This afternoon, I am thrilled to announce a $100,000 gift from Google to Lincoln Public Schools Foundation to expand the Spark Summer Learning. Spark Summer Learning is a summer camp for elementary students that uses STEAM subjects, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, to help spark our children's curiosity about the world around them. And Google's generous donation will enable Spark Summer Learning to grow. It will enhance children's learning experiences by investing in the technology, state-of-the-art technology, like tablets and lab equipment, and it will remove financial barriers to accessing quality STEM education by providing scholarships for 40 students. Let's thank them for that. This donation is a win for our youth and our businesses, because by expanding our Spark Summer Learning, LPS will be able to help ensure that all students have the opportunity to explore and prepare for STEAM-related careers. And those careers and that preparation ultimately cultivates the future workforce that will help Lincoln businesses as they grow. The expansion of Spark Summer Learning is made possible through Google's investment and partnership with our community and with so many of the talents and gifts that people in this room have brought to bear on this investment. We truly appreciate and benefit from Google's commitment to Lincoln. And like many of us, I appreciate and benefit from your products as an honorary Googler, I guess. Products like Google Cloud. And I think I can safely say on behalf of everyone here today that we are now all on Cloud 9 thanks to your investment.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Congressman, Senator, Dr. Gold. Thank you so much for joining us and being on the program. Director Bielitz, for traveling all the way from Utah. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Two quick housekeeping items. One, as soon as we're done here, I'd like to invite our speakers up to the stage for a couple of photos. And then secondly, we are so fortunate to be in this wonderful facility. If you haven't seen the refreshments, and I think even Minnie runs us by now, please help yourself. It is so great to be among friends, and so please enjoy each other's company, take the time, and thank you so much for joining us and being a part of our continued growth here in Nebraska. Enjoy your day.